So today's gonna be a bit more of a different type of video. As you can see, we're sitting down, we're chill. I even got a mic in hand, so you know this is giving a bit more, I don't know, a bit something different, a bit something fresh. I asked the general public, by general public I mean my friends and followers on Instagram, to ask me a couple questions, and I think as we're still getting to know or re-know each other on this platform, it's important for you guys to just understand my perspective on certain things and get an opportunity to ask me questions and kind of see like how I respond, because then you can also make a sound decision as to whether you want to invest in my channel and a character like me, or maybe I'm not for you and you might want to go to the next person, which is completely fine. But that's kind of like the basis of this. So as we're still getting to know Brad and what Brad has to offer and think, I don't know what this is called yet. I don't know if it's going to be like raw talks, midnight talks, or something, like just something. We're going to figure that out. Unfiltered, something. But this is like, I want there to be a segment on my channel where I kind of just get to reflect a bit more. I kind of just get to think out loud. I don't want it to be like too scripted, too thought out. Just kind of go off the rim and just get an opportunity to kind of offload and just speak. And then if that resonates with some of you guys, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever. Cool. Anyways. So I have a couple of questions here on my handy little laptop. So I'm just gonna have a look at some of these and see what stands out. But to be fair, I'm moving like I haven't already shortlisted the questions to see what I want to answer, what I don't want to answer. Okay, I already know what I want to answer. So one of the first things about on here, and I think, do you know what? Before we even jump to the questions, I want to give a bit of context behind the first video that you guys would have seen, because I'm not sure if this is going to be like the second video after, the third video after, but I think it might be the third video after, maybe second. Who knows? And like the first video is really about, it's quite self-explanatory, but I'm just going to expand on it. It's quite a vulnerable piece. Like I wanted it to feel a bit more cinematic. I wanted it to feel a bit more like a performance, but not performative, if that makes sense. So obviously in the video I'm talking about reconnecting with myself and reconnecting with what I feel might be the best parts of myself. I was even having a thought just before I recorded this. I feel most certain when I'm creative, and that says something. Like I feel most like my idea makes sense, or what I'm saying makes sense, or I'm correct when I'm being creative. And I think that is an indication of that that's where I'm meant to be, or like that's like the best of me, or some of the best of me, because I feel less uncertainty, I feel less doubt. Like I'm like, no, that's the idea, no, that's what we're doing, or that's the thing, or da. It's like I'm sure. And I think part of the video was me coming back to that side of me that is sure, like, or more sure. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's like a long-winded way of saying, oh, I'm coming back to being creative and stuff like that. But I think part of like the underneath behind being creative is like my intuition is sure. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like my intuition is right. Like my gut feeling is right. There's something about being sure and being creative and making something that I think is quite powerful, and I want to reconnect to. And yeah, and I just feel like I have a lot to offer, and I don't want to be something or someone of potential, or someone or something of like, he could do this but he hasn't done that, I just don't want that narrative for myself. And like even like the painting behind you, like that's something that I've painted, and like I've actually taken up painting classes for the end of this month, just to kind of get into the habit of like building my own style. And like the class is around like building your own style, so I'm being so like literal, but I picked that class for a particular reason, because I feel like I can paint, I feel like I can draw, but I'm really someone that has to like see something being done and then like reproduce it, and then it's like like even that's a picture that I found on Tumblr and I could reproduce it, but it's hard for me to like maybe envision stuff like just off the rim of my mind, or maybe like for me to paint in a particular style that I just find natural. Like most times we'll see something and be like, oh, I'm going to recreate that, I'm going to recreate something similar to that. So I think I want to build more of like my own perspective and like my own style. Literally my own style. And I think everything is coming in full circle. I feel like everything ties in together. Like everything is like, you know. And I think even on top of that, I don't know, I feel like there's a shift happening in me. And I don't really know how else to say it. I just feel like there's a shift happening in me. Like something is happening, and something is clicking more than it has before. And I'm following that. Like I'm going with that. yeah, something's happening. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to speak too much on it, but I just want to share that like I feel a shift happening, and whatever that looks like within the next 6 months, within the next year, within the next 3 years, like I feel it coming and I feel it happening now, and I'm just trying to like lean more into that. So that's also, I don't know, a bit about where I am right now and like my perspective. So yeah, take with that what you will, you know. So now coming on to the questions that we have on here, right? So one of the questions that I see is, when do you find yourself feeling overwhelmed in life and how do you find peace again? When do I find myself being overwhelmed? I get quite overwhelmed. I feel like when I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like when I'm in situations where I feel like I can't breathe, I get overwhelmed. I'm the type of person where, like, if I'm having particular types of discussions or if I'm in a particular type of setting or whatever the case may be, like I need some fresh air. Like I need space. I need to think. Oh, if I feel like I can't breathe, or I feel like I can't reflect, or I feel like I can't think for myself and like I'm quite blocked, like that can be quite overwhelming for me. So I'm the type of person like I need to like listen to something cool, go out for a walk or be in a different environment to kind of like take myself out of that, because otherwise, girl, like I'm exploding. And you need to also understand, like, I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm a fire sign. So even though I think to some people I might seem calm, like to others, like I'm maybe not as calm. And then also I feel like, to be fair, when you lot first saw me on the YouTubes, you know what I mean? If you saw me on the YouTubes, because I don't even know who's watching me, but the first video, like you can see that I have a lot of energy. I feel like in a lot of my videos or whatever, like if you just know of me, you know like I have a lot of energy. So there's a lot going on in it. So if I'm in a setting where that energy is just compact, do you know what I mean? It's just then that's when I feel overwhelmed. So yeah, like I was saying, I feel like to kind of take myself out of that, to find peace, is to kind of be in a different environment. Also kind of self-talk. I'm heavy on self-talk. Like I really talk myself out of situations. I talk myself out of particular feelings. Like I have to talk to myself. Like I have to almost like nurture myself, like mother myself, father myself, all that stuff. So I do that as well. I feel like music really helps like bring me peace. I feel like movies as well. Like if I'm really emotional, let's say like I'm going through something like related to like relationships, whatever the case may be, right? Like I will listen to music to kind of let that therapeutic side come out. Or I'll watch a film and like kind of cry it out, and that helps me to like to understand my emotions, but also to express my emotions rather than just like sitting there and just crying, like, and just feeling like, oh my god, like, I'm just crying for no reason. I feel like loserish. It's like, no, if I watch a movie, then it helps me to, like, it just helps me to feel a bit more like there's meaning to the cry. Not only am I crying because of what I'm going through in life, but also I can connect with what I'm seeing on screen that's helping me to like get it out. Like I'm a big crier for like films and stuff like that. Even if it's not like romantic stuff, like even if it's just general stuff, like if I love hearty stuff, like if there's a hearty thing, like I'm gonna tear up, like I'm gonna cry, like, you know what I mean? It's just what it is. It is what it is. I feel like also my understanding of God, and understanding of like protection within spirituality helps me to like find peace again. I think I found a lot of solace in my life by knowing like there's more, and knowing that I'm connected to more, I'm connected to light. So I think that also brings me like a lot of peace. Knowing that I'm protected and having the belief that I'm protected as well. I think that's the biggest thing as well. Like I really genuinely feel protected. Like I think God, however you want to like interpret that, like protects me. Not speaking about other people, I'm just talking about for me personally. And I think it's important to also have that perspective, because I think even if I'm not being protected, which I am, I think that the way you navigate life will also reflect your view on whether you're being protected or not. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I feel like that's why some people, whether you believe in like manifestation, right? Whether you believe in manifestation or not, that's not the bigger point. The bigger point is that if you have belief in a particular thing is going to come, it's most likely going to come because the way you navigate life will indicate will indicate you closer to that particular goal. Like things will work out in a way, and it's not that the universe is like actively trying to do things, but like you'll be able to spot things that will help you get closer to that particular goal. So it's like, it's less about, oh, the world and the universe is doing this for me, but it's like you have that faith and belief that helps to trigger certain indicators within life and your experience that will help you get to that. So with me feeling protected, it's like I know I'm protected. So it's like when I'm moving, I'm noticing things and I'm picking up things, and my brain is registering that as like I am protected, and I think that's powerful. So yeah, I think that also helps me to like bring me peace. It's like I'm protected. Like I'm don't please. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm protected, but like not even just protected. Like no one can touch me, because no one can touch me, but like people can touch me, but that's not the thing. But it's more so like I'm protected in the sense of like in my deepest of lows and whatever the case may be. Like I know that there's and I know there's something here. You know, I know that there's a soul. I know that there's something going on, and that helps me to feel really calm in myself and really in myself and comfortable within myself. So yeah, that's kind of how I find peace. I feel like that was so fucking long-winded. Like I don't even know. I don't even know, brother. I don't even know. I didn't even know. But no, I think it kind of leads nicely into, do I believe in God or the God of the Bible? And where does my faith stand in my life right now? I think this is an interesting topic for me, right? And I think I'm going to give the context of like, I'm a black gay man. So the way I view this would be slightly different to maybe most people, whatever the case may be. And also the way I view this will also be connected to that. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a result of that. I grew up Christian, right? I grew up originally Christian Catholic or Catholic Christian. And then my mom kind of went on her own journey of like trying to find her own religion. Like right now she's Jehovah's Witness, but sometimes she like goes. So anyways, we won't talk about that. But I think my dad is still Catholic. Okay, cool. However, I think that my understanding of God is a bit more, whether the word is liberal or whether the word is more expansive or whether the word is less limiting. Like I have a deep connection to the Christian God, but I know that is down to socialization, and I also know that is down to the way society is socialized in general. Like whether you believe in God or not, like our view of the Abraham God has significantly impacted the way we see life, the way we see ourselves, the way that we engage with others, the way we engage with the law. Like all of that is indication or indicative of like the type of society that we're in, and that comes from a Christian foundation. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So as a basis, whether I believe in God or not, I recognize that and I see that in our daily interactions, right? Cool. Now, I also recognize that especially as an African and especially as a black person, the religions that we have, as a short way to say it, were through indoctrination. Do you know what I mean? Like these are not religions that we necessarily picked up ourselves. That's not to say that before colonization there weren't black people, African people who were Christian or who were Muslim, but a huge part of that wave of us becoming Christian is through that indoctrination. So I also have that in mind when I'm thinking about religion and I'm thinking about God and I'm thinking about spirituality. I think that there is a space for us to connect back to more black or African spiritualities, and I think it's very important that there is space to also look into that. The reason being is, like I said, I truly believe that our idea and perception of God highly impacts the way we see life and what we can do and what we can't do and what we mean in this world. And I know that black people have found a lot of solace and a lot of power within God, but I also think there is a question to say, how much more powerful would we be within ourselves? And I'm not just talking about powerful in terms from in like the capitalist sense of like, oh, we'll be able to have money and all of this stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just genuine power and self-belief and self-autonomy. How different would that be if that came from a black spiritual lens? I think there's a question around that. So I think for me, whilst I am highly connected to the Christian God because that's what I was brought up on and I recognize that, I'm also much more expansive in my understanding of God, also because I'm black and gay. So it's not just I'm black and I recognize the history behind me becoming or being Christian and what that means even in my countries of origin, like Ivory Coast or Congo, what that means to be Christian, but also I'm gay. So it's like already there is limited space for me in those places. And that's not to say that I believe truly that God doesn't fuck with gay people. That's not the thing that I'm saying, because I don't believe that at all. But I think that from a traditional lens, there is less space for me. So by me existing and there being less space for me, I have to look elsewhere. By way of living, by way of just existing, I can't just accept a Christian God face value. read the Bible face value and think, yeah, that's it. I can't. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I can't, because there's not much space for me. So I think that leads me to also question, well, if there's less space for me, where could there be space for me? Because I exist, I am here. So where is there space for me? And I think that there is space to look outside of our traditional understanding of God and to think about what what else could God mean? Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of like where I stand right now. Like, I also believed there was a common thread behind a lot of religions, most religions, and I know that's very like new age and that's very today, but I genuinely believe that there is like common thread behind a lot of religions, and a lot of these stories are not new stories. Like, even the idea of the Virgin Mary and like Jesus and that aspect of Christianity, that's not necessarily a new story or a story that is central to Christianity. Like, there are religions and spiritual groups that also believed in similar models and had similar archetypes in their beliefs. So I also recognize that there's a theme going on here. Like, these stories aren't new stories, they're being reproduced and recreated. However, the common theme behind them, the deeper meaning behind them, I do believe are powerful and I do connect with to some regard. But in terms of, would I call myself a Christian today? I wouldn't necessarily call myself a Christian today, because like, I don't fully believe or go by Christian values or belief systems, but I do believe in God. I genuinely do believe in God. Like, for me, there's no doubt of a God. I think that there's also a space, also, and I really heavily believe in this, I honestly believe that there is a space for us as human beings to explore what God means for us. And I question, and I always encourage people to find out what that meaning of God means for you. Whether that means you end up being Christian, then that means you end up being Christian. Whether that means you end up being Muslim, that means you end up being Muslim. If you want to follow Buddhist practices, then you want to follow Buddhist practices. Because I think most human beings, and I'm going to say most because I know some of us are a bit, but most human beings, I think, do have the capacity and should be afforded the capacity to understand what God means for them. And I also question the idea of like priests or pastors or like a central figure who is human to tell me what the meaning of life and God and spirituality is. I question that. I really do. Because I genuinely feel like most of us, again, I'm not all, but I think most of us have the capacity to find out the answer and to get the answer and know what the answer is. I think most of us know that deep down. And I encourage and I always ask everyone to find that out for themselves. Because at the end of the day, this is like your own life. This is your own journey. So it can't just be based off of like what someone else is telling you or what people have done for hundreds of years. Because what were they doing for 1,000 years before that, or 2,000 years before that? Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, that's again, I'm very long with it, but again, this is meant to be much more of a raw format, much more of like a chill format. So hopefully you guys are following along and enjoying this format of a conversation. But yeah, that's kind of like my idea of religion, and where I stand with like the Christian God or the God from the Bible. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. The last couple of things on here that I see are, what makes you happy, scared, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? What makes me happy? I think off the rim, music, food, media, but particular types of media. Like, I love art. I generally do love art. And I think that makes me really happy. I think that quality time really makes me happy as well. Like, in terms of my love languages, I love quality time. I love physical touch. Like, I love hugs. I love cuddles. Like, that makes me so happy. That makes me feel so safe. Like, that makes me feel like fucking. But yeah, off the bat, those are the things that make me happy. I think that on a deeper level, I think coming back to, like I said, that idea of being protected and protection also makes me feel really happy. Because I feel like I have purpose and I have guidance, and like I have meaning to my life. And I think having that meaning and knowing that you come from light and accepting that and believing in that helps to like make me feel really, really happy, because it's like I don't ever feel purpose. Yeah, language. Language. Listen, I don't ever feel purposeless. Purposeless, is that c'est ça, non? Que si on veut parler en anglais, des fois, moi, je sais pas ce qu'on est en train de dire. Je sais pas ce que je suis en train de dire, mais attends. It's purposeless, non? C'est ça, non? Hold on. Purposeless. À cause tu sais, en anglais, des fois, ça me tue, hein? Ça me bat. Anyways, I don't ever feel purposeless. I feel like sometimes I may be demonstrating purposeless. Yeah, my go. Hey, sometimes, sometimes I may be demonstrating attributes of being purposeless, but I don't ever feel purposeless in nature of me just existing. Is that even a good sentence? I feel like it is. It sounded nice. I'm just gonna keep it. But I don't ever feel like I'm here for no reason. No, I feel like I have reason. Like I feel like I have purpose. I feel like I'm here for a reason. I feel like I'm meant to be here. I feel like I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to be here. Do you know what I mean? And that makes me feel happy. I feel like I'm meant to be here. And I know the light. I know the lights. I'm meant to be here. That makes me feel happy. Anyways, moving on. What makes me feel scared? Snakes. But I'm gonna beat that for you. What makes me feel scared? I feel like being very complacent in life also makes me feel scared. And sometimes I see aspects, sometimes just niggling of like complacency, and that really scares me. Sometimes I'm just like, how is my life gonna turn out if I just don't do. But what else makes me scared? I think what else makes me scared? What generally makes me scared? What makes me scared? I think the biggest thing is just about like what type of life am I gonna have, and like who am I going to be. I think sometimes, this might be a deep one, but I think ending up like certain family members. We won't get into that today because it's too early. It's too early, darling. But I think ending up like certain family members that I've seen scares me. Yeah, because I've seen the effects that they have had on other people, or let's just say me, and I don't want to have that effect on other people when I become their age. So I think that also scares me. Yeah, I think those stuff that scared me. I can't think of anything else right now because maybe I'm not my head isn't deep enough right now. I'm not digging deep. But in terms of scared, that's what I have so far. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I always feel quite hesitant to answer these types of questions like online, just because like evil eye, and I hate to be that person, but evil eye, my God, like yeah. Anyways, in terms of where I see myself the last 5 years, I feel like in the next 5 years, I feel like in the last 5 years, I built up my career, and I'm so happy to like say like I have a career. I have a career in ed tech. Like that makes me so happy, because you guys need to understand, I dropped out of university to go into like coaching, and like I'm doing the thing that I dropped out of uni to do, and I'm like I've built a career. Like I have a career. I have a career. Do you know how happy that? Hey. So I'm proud of that, but I think for the next 5 years, I would like to build a creative career and generally have a career, like be able to say that I've moved on from doing this to doing this and evolve like how I create and produce art, and like be recognized and respected for that. I think that's the biggest thing for me as well. Obviously, I want to also be able to make money off of that, however that may come. But I think the biggest thing for me is like for people to see my stuff and genuinely like respect the art that I create. I think that's a really big thing for me, like for my name to like have some type of standing, to be like, oh, like he makes really good art, or I think that is a really big thing for me. And when I say art, I mean art in different mediums. Like painting, okay, that would be cool. Like I do want to have like an exhibition one day, like just to show off like the art that I've made. But I'm just talking about like on the grand scale. I'm talking very wide when I say art. I mean like that could be film, short films, whatever the case may be, or like visual media, whatever. That's why I attribute it as art, because my intention behind it is to make art. It's not just to make like content, even though I would love to be a content creator, but it's like it's not just to make content. Like I want to be a creator. I want to be creative, you know, an artist. Yeah. So I think that's what I want to see in the next 5 years. I really want to build up a creative career, and really build up a name for myself and be respected with that name and what I've created. I think outside of that, I would like to live outside of the UK for at least a year. I'm one of those, you have seen the TikToks of the people that are saying like, our parents came from way back where to build a life here. We need to also leave here and build a life in way back wherever. I am one of those people. I genuinely believe that we are so lucky for our parents to have moved here and given us the life that they have, which is great. But I think we also have a responsibility to truly find out, where do we see a life for ourselves and where would we like to call home. And I think a lot of us, the UK isn't that home. So maybe not a lot of us, but I think for a couple of us, maybe me, I think, yeah, the UK, I'm not sure it's a home for me. And for me, it's not even a thing of like just the last couple of years I've just started thinking this. Like, I think a lot of my friends will tell you like they thought I would live abroad. Like, that's not like a new thing. And it's so funny, fun fact, when I was younger, when I first became an adult, let's say for example I first turned like 18, 19, my mom used to hide my passport because she was scared that I would one day just up and leave and go build a life somewhere else. Like, she told me this years later, but I feel like it was cute, but it was kind of like sad. But it was also cute because, like, you know that I would do that. I feel like I'm definitely the type to like one day just up and leave and like just gone. I'm very spontaneous like that. I'm very, and especially if I feel it in my spirit, and my spirit's telling me leave the fucking country, I'm leaving the fucking country, you know. So yeah, I would like to live abroad at least 1 year, and understand like where would I like to call home and where would I like to start to build a life. And maybe I might do the year abroad and figure out actually the UK is for me. I might figure out actually London is for me, or maybe I'll say, oh, Manchester's for me, or wherever it's for me. It's not to say like I have to live abroad. That's not the point. But I want to experience living abroad, just to understand like different environment, especially a warmer climate with more culture and rich and fulfilling people. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I think, yeah, I want to experience more vibrancy and life and people and things like that. So yeah, that's one thing. Another thing, in the next 5 years, I would love to have bought a house or a property. My first house or property. I think that's quite a big one. I'd love to see that in the next 5 years. For me to have done my body. When I say get my body done, I'm just being like the girls. Like, I want to get my BBL, but now I want to like consistently go to the gym and like just change my body. Like, I've always wanted, from young, I always knew that not the final stage, but like the main stage is gonna be when I get this body done. Because like when I get that body done, like I'm gonna have tattoos, I'm gonna get my nipple piercing. Like, I'm just waiting for the body to come through so that I can start changing my body the way I want to. Because like I've always said, from being a teenager, I said I'm never gonna get a tattoo until I have muscles. That was always a thing. And like after I decided I'm never gonna get my nipple pierced until I get muscles as well. Like, it's a particular look that I'm going for, and unless I see that look, I ain't doing shit. So right now I have no tattoos, but when them muscles come in, you'll see them tattoos come through. Do you know what I mean? Okay, all right. What else I see in the next 5 years? I had a point actually. It kind of left me. I had a point in my head. It was just here. Oh my god, I had a fucking point. I had a point. Oh, okay. Here it is. Health wise, in the next 5 years, I would have liked to patent like my diet. I feel like my diet isn't bad. Like, I feel like I do cook various things. Like, I cook vegan meals, vegetarian meals, whatever have you. I cook meat. I don't cook meat. I cook fish, whatever. But I definitely want to be a bit more strict with like my diet and like how I manage my food. That's really important for me. Just for like health implications, but also I just think it'll be really good for me to kind of like feel good in my body and like know how to really look after my body and like understand like what foods really work and don't work for my body as well. I feel like I want to get to a place where like I'm very much like aware of like what I should digest that's really right for my body. Do you know what I mean? Like altering my diet to really fit my needs. Like, that's something that's big. Um what else how else do I see my life in the next 5 years? I think in the next 5 years, the biggest thing for me is for me to move with more certainty in all of my actions, and like move with more certainty and really become more of a man of my word. I feel like, disappointingly, like sometimes I haven't always stuck to my word and even to myself. And I think even like being creative and stuff like that, like just not sticking to things that I wanted to do and kind of like put stuff on the back burner and stuff like that. Um, I don't want to continue doing that in my 30s. Like, I want to like say I want to do something and do it type of thing. Like, I really want to be a man of my word. Like, because word is bonding. I hate to be one of them straight guys, but word is bond. So yeah, that's a really important one for me, to become a man of my word. Yeah. I'll probably leave it there because I think where else am I going to flip and go after that? Also, if you've asked me like any other questions, like from the time that I asked for you guys to ask questions, just know that it didn't necessarily, English. It didn't necessarily fit the narrative and the dialogue of this video, but I might use in another video, or maybe I'll just ask you to ask me another question because it just doesn't fit those videos, you know what I mean? But I just want to thank everyone that actually answered back and asked me some questions. Like, I really appreciate it because you actually helped me to make this video. And in future videos, I might not always ask questions. I might just like talk off the rim, like what's going on in my life, or might just rant, or might just be upset, or might be really happy, whatever the case may be. I just want this to be a much more chilled and raw experience. So hopefully you guys liked this format. Let me know your thoughts. I expect that not many people are going to like this particular format. They might like the more like cinematic, like production things, and like this will just be like the guys that really want to tune in or watch this. But like regardless, like whoever watches this, like I appreciate you watching. As always, guys, I hope that you take care of your hearts and your spirits, and I'll catch you lot on the next one. All right, peace. I'm happy with that. Yeah, Cindy. I'm a cat dad now as well.